All right, folks, we're going to get started here. Mason wins 79-72 over Rhode Island, the Patriots' first true road game of the year. And also, apparently, according to the numbers, it's Mason's second win over Rhode Island in the last 9 games. This being the 9th game, it's only her second win over Rhode Island in the last 9 opportunities. So not a place we usually go to and win, but we got the win there today. I want to hear from you guys, the fans, of course, as we look in. So request to speak, please, as we get into here, though, as we start this spaces here. And request to speak, and I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on today's win. Obviously, though, as we wait for that, Josh Oduro led the way once again. He led with 23 points, 13 boards, just a massive game by Oduro again. He's been excellent since A10 play has started. There is no doubt about how good he's been, quite honestly. Looking at it other ways here. I don't know, okay. We also saw this. Devon Cooper probably had his best game as in conference play so far. I believe he ended up with 20 points on the game. I think, let me double check here on the box score. Yeah, 20 points from Coop. He was 5 of 8 from 3, probably his most efficient 3-point shooting game in a while. Victor Bailey was third in scoring with 9 points, and then 14 points off the bench for Mason. 7 from Devin Dinkins, who had a pretty noticeably good game off the bench. And then 5 points from Malik Henry as well, who continues to show some ability off the bench as well. But again, I really want to hear from you guys today. I want to hear your guys' opinion here. What are we thinking today after this game? Do you feel better about the team? Do you feel worse about the team? Do you feel kind of the same you felt about the team the last couple of weeks? Do you feel better about certain players? I mean, I really want to hear from you guys here what you're thinking about this win and who you're looking at here. So I really want to hear from you guys here. I know one of you's got to speak. I know. Not even Chris. Chris usually likes to speak on these. I'm surprised I'm not hearing from Chris yet. Yeah, okay, I guess. But other backstory today, obviously. Oh, Alan. Alan's going to want to speak on today's game, I'm sure. Alan, inviting you in. Want to hear your thoughts on the game today, buddy. And kind of your thoughts on today's victory. Obviously, looking at it elsewise. Oh, okay, Brian, Alan, you're in. Got other hot takes today. Justin Fernandez, I thought continued to look good, but a little inefficient from the line again. He was only 2 for 9 from the field. But Al, I'm going to want to hear from you here. What were your thoughts on the game today?
Oh, I'm still processing it. First half was fine. Second half, we still let our foot off the gas there and turned it back on just in time, I think. Really liked what I saw from Cooper. I think he responded to getting almost called out by Kim on Monday, and Bailey saved us there at the end probably with that layup. So that was good to see. I mean, he got in foul trouble. I still don't think we're getting enough shots out of Bailey. He's got to shoot the ball more. I don't know. Rhode Island's not a good team, so I'm not sure how much to make of some of what I saw.
Yeah, that's kind of the question. That's been something that's been talked about a lot in some of the chats I'm in as well, is that we want to see Bailey take a lot more shots. I think that's been a frustration of a lot of the fans so far this year, but I think when he did take his shots, I thought he looked good today.
Agreed.
I don't know what you think,
Agreed.
but I think when he actually tried it, I thought he looked good.
Yes, and to some degree, teams know what he is, and they're sticking on him. So that's part of it too. But
Yeah, but he's got to be. I
there's
think
been
he's
a
got to be
couple
like
of games lately where we've run a play from him, and he's just been suffocated.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta ask you, what do you think about Devin Dinkins' play off the bench today? That might have been the best off the bench play we've seen from him in conference play so far today, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So
He
7 points off the.
He didn't. I don't think he took a single bad shot. At least I'm not thinking of any. So
Yeah.
that's what you
7 points
want.
off the bench, including perfect from the free throw line. Again, Malik Henry, 5 points off the bench from Malik. I think we'll take that any day of the week.
He probably should have had more. He had a couple easy ones rim out on him.
Yeah,
so
I
just keep
think we'll
shooting. Keep shooting, Malik.
Liam, I know you've got some spots. Liam, welcome into the show. Liam, I know you've got some thoughts on today's game. What are your thoughts on? Alan mentioned the reactions from some of the older vets. Did you think any of them reacted the way you would want them to react if you were Coach English?
No, I think the emotion side of the game is still pretty stale, but I think they're just overthinking the game still, even at this point of the season.
You think that's our biggest issue? Do you think that's a player thing? You think that's a coaching thing? You think that's a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I think maybe KE's having these guys overthink still in the game, or they're not playing how he wants them to play, so they're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Right.
So Odura's performance today, Liam, he was 10 of 15 from the field. He was 4 of 7 from the line, 14 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, only 2 turnovers. He also only shot 1 3, which I think you're probably going to like that he only shot that 1 3 from behind the line. A really efficient game. It was pretty clear from early on that both Chiaku and Sam were just going to be unable to defend Odura at all, and I think he took full advantage. But a little bit of foul trouble again kind of took him out of the game in the second half and probably stopped us from expanding the lead at this point. Are you concerned by that with Oduro sitting like he was today, that we kind of went back to last year's Mason, that without him, we weren't really – I guess you go to Allen, too, that we weren't really kind of playing at our best?
No, 100%. We need Josh on the
Of
court.
course I'm worried.
Yeah. So you're both worried about that.
No,
I do think they figured some things out at the end there, but that was more taking advantage of Rhode Island's weaknesses than playing to our strengths without Josh on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think our zone looked that good, but it confused the heck out of Rhode Island, so it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the weird thing about the Davidson game, is that obviously we forced them to take a couple of seconds off the clock in the end there by switching to that zone play. Obviously we're not used to seeing that long view, I guess, long term, in terms of how we're playing here. We're not used to us going to that zone, and the team, if we go into that zone, obviously still has some things to work on. There were pretty clearly some backdoor switches that our guard struggled with there. But it's kind of a tale of two halves. It was 41-26 from the first half. We got outscored by 8 though in the second, 46-38. Obviously not enough to make up that first half difference. Brayon Freeman, we know him well from George Washington last year. We recruited him in the portal this year. Obviously decided not to stay home, decided to go to Rhode Island. Second half was crazy. I thought he took a lot of shots that I didn't think were falling from in the first half. This Rhode Island team, struggling out the gates here, looked like a pillow fight team. But do you guys think there are pieces here that these guys can, maybe starting next year, make a play here in the A10?
No, they suck. Archie needs to re-ramp that roster.
I saw like 2.5 A10 players.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Bad. That's real bad.
Yeah.
That might be a little harsh, but
No, Allen, speak your truth, man. Allen knows AJ basketball like no other. Okay, if Allen sees 2.5 players, it's 2.5 players.
Yeah. So,
that Weston kid's going to be a problem, though. I like
if he can
him.
be consistent. His issue seems to be consistency, though, because he was great in the first half.
Well, he's a freshman, I think.
Is he?
So, is Freeman back? I've lost track of where he's.
Yeah, he's only a Freeman's only a sophomore, so he'll be back.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
He's the guy we let load up on that 3-pointer. He caught the ball, bent his knees, said a prayer through his mom, said hello to all his fans in the stands, and he took the 3. He made it.
Yeah, sometimes it does kind of feel like our 3-point defense is like that sometimes. If we let a guy open, that's for sure.
The issue
without Ticket.
Yeah, exactly. The 3-point defense. The issue is that we give people their spots. We don't chase people off their spots.
Right.
Like if they're shooting at that spot 100 times in practice, we're giving them that shot.
My theory's always been just stand in that. If you can't stay with them, just stand in that spot and make them shoot it from somewhere else.
There you go. There's some scouting right there. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Now, obviously, big game Wednesday at VCU. Only time we get VCU this year. They do not come to us this year through the power of the
Ooh.
Do we have a chance in hell? I think is the question against this hot as all hell VCU team.
There were times of this game where I thought we did well. Like the way to beat the VCU's defense is that you have to be very reactive, like decision making wise. So when Ginniga caught that pass inside and he went to the hook immediately, that's what we need to do the whole entire game. Like what Josh also you can't hesitate. If you hesitate against VCU, their defense is going to make you pay.
Yeah, while you're thinking about where to go with the ball, they're stealing it and going the other way.
So Rhode Island sucks, and there are times
I feel like
you better have a plan before you get the ball, or it's gone. While you're making a plan, it's gone.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I remember the game at home last year against VCU. Just utter inability to work against their defense. But we welcome Tony into the space. Tony, your thoughts on today's game?
Something's right from here. What I will say, do have against VC. Let's know VC hot.
You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out on us, Tony. You're cutting in and out on us here. Yeah. All right. Maybe we're not going to hear from Tony, but yeah, VCU Wednesday leading scorer. Of course, is just the always very, very good Ace Baldwin. Actually, no, it's Brandon Johns overtook him. The transfer from Michigan overtook him, I guess, in the last couple of games as the leading scorer, only by 0.4 points. But Johns and Baldwin, their most efficient scorers. But Jameer Watkins has had a couple of really recently very good games. A 6'7" sophomore out of New Jersey. Against Richmond specifically, 15 points, 10 boards this year against Richmond. Yeah, so do we think Ticket could be back for this game? Is that maybe the only hope and prayer is that Ticket can somehow get in minutes for this game?
At this point, I don't know what Ticket is. I don't want Ticket's first game back to be like VCU just destroying us.
So what do you want the game to be then? Do you want it looking in our schedule here?
Well, I think we needed them to go 9 overtimes with Richmond last night, and they didn't. That was our best shot.
Ooh.
The one thing that impressed me with VCU over Richmond was that they didn't get too many points off turnovers, but they still scored pretty well. So that makes this even more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a lot of secondary guys start stepping up in the last month. If we'd got them a month ago, I'd feel a lot better. But they're getting contribution all over that roster right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe if Ronnie steps on Ace's ankle, maybe we have a shot then.
Accidentally,
of course. Hypothetically speaking, if one were to step on Ace Baldwin's ankle, maybe we have a shot. But otherwise, continue to look ahead. next Sunday against St. Joe's, and then that upcoming Wednesday, both at home against UMass then. Two games that Mason should on paper win. I think that's the hope, probably.
UMass is struggling right now.
Yeah, UMass, obviously with the caveat Fernandez is out right now. He's dealing with an injury. This has kind of been UMass's problem, not only this year, but last year too, is that when Fernandez is out, they just still cannot get things going. I think, they're down by 6 right now to Joe's on the road. Speaking of Joe's, if they hold on to this game, they've won 3 straight. Should we be a little bit more concerned about the Hawks than we usually are when they come into our home?
Yeah, I mean they have the point guard that we wanted.
That's not wrong. Eric Reynolds, of course, being the big scorer this year for the Hawks. He was a guy who showed a lot of promise last year. With Taylor Funk now out of the way, Eric Reynolds III, he's averaging 17.3 points a game, and is averaging 42% from the field and 88% from the line. So that seems like it'll be a problem. Excuse me, just from what we're looking at here. We've had issues with guards all year. Obviously, the question with Joe's has been their defense. That's kind of been their question this whole year, questionable defense, which has stopped them from being able to kind of get into a lot of games. But, you look at the wins, though. It's Loyola Chicago, it's LaSalle, it's UMass, who are struggling more than I think we thought they would, who are probably not as good as we thought they were coming into the year. But it still feels like a big game. It feels like a game that you need to probably win, depending on no matter how Wednesday goes. That's probably a game where you're going to really want to come in here and feel like a win.
I like our point guard by committee. I think it's getting better. Dinkins is like a more dynamic guard that can get into the paint, create doubles when he's in there. Polite's more of like a pick and roll kind of with Josh point guard. So we need to find that balance.
I know Ronnie didn't have the best. It didn't feel like the best defensive or shooting game today, but he was only 3 for 5. He had 8 assists, so you can't take that away. He had 8 assists today from Ronnie Polite. So that
probably should have had a couple more.
Yeah. So that I mean, this has kind of been the thing with Polite. It feels like he can never put both together. Sometimes, like he either has like 18 points, he only has 4 assists, or he has like 8 or 9 assists, but he only scores like 6 or 7 points.
I think naturally he's more of a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard.
What I saw today was he was looking for it, and they were closing off his driving lane, so he was passing it to open shooters. So it's not that he wasn't looking for it.
Like a step late, most of the time. Just he's thinking a lot.
You think he's one of the
I really didn't see it that way.
There was one drive where he had VJ on the left for open 3, and then JF on the right, and he waited for Oduro to come down and set him a screen because that was a play. I mean, he's out there thinking too much.
Do you think he's one of the bigger issues on this team for overthinking?
I think it's an issue. You just have to find the balance between him and Dinkins, like depending on what's on the court.
Yeah. So only really what Blake Jones got in for 2 minutes, but really only 9 guys deep this game. With the starting 5, then Henry with 15, Saquon with 14, Dink with 11, and Jinica with 10. Singleton coming under a lot of fire. A lot of people were questioning if he was one of the guys that KE was talking about, but didn't decide to mention by name when he was talking about older transfers. Has not been particularly good looking on the stat sheet in recent games. Point totals of 0, 0, 4, and 0 the last 4 games, including today. Probably not what you wanted to see from a guy who's getting your most minutes off the bench, even if he is a more defensive replacement.
At this point, I'm not looking for offense from him. Personally, I've given up on that. That's not his role. That's not how we're trying to use him.
I think the question is, he a guy whose minutes goes down when Tickett comes back this season? Is he the guy whose minutes get hit, or is someone like Jinica or Malik who gets hit when Ticket comes back.
It won't be Malik.
You don't think it'll be Malik?
No, he's played too well. It's him or it's Singleton or Ogiaco that got to be worried about that, I think.
Liam, what
Not
do you
that I
think,
like
Liam?
calling people out by name, but
I mean, it's whatever. I'll be excited when he comes back just for the rebounding aspect. I know that coach's show,
yes.
Tim English brought up that even though he missed 5 games, he's still second on the team in rebounding. That just opens up everything, right? When the players don't have to worry about they know he's going to rebound it. They can run down the court. That's our best offense. We will run down the court.
Yep.
So he does that for us. When he's not there, people have to stay back and try to rebound, and that's just no dice. Our half-court offense is not
He
definitely
was
not
averaging
good.
5.5. Oh no, excuse me. Is that he's averaging 6.2 boards a game.
Yeah.
He was.
More importantly, they know he's going to get the ball, and everyone can run down the court. That's the most important aspect.
So obviously, that's a big part of the game that we are missing right now. Yeah. So I think that's unless anyone else wants to step in and speak here. I think we're probably going to end it at that. Obviously, we will be having. I'm going to be starting a podcast. Onward to Victory, a little bit more of a weekly podcast than what we're starting here now, though, with hopefully our first episode out on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, previewing the VCU game. It'll be pretty quick, 5 to 10 minute preview, but going to be out here soon, so watch out for that. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in, guys. Big win today. Go green and gold. And tune in on Wednesday night at 7 for that big game against VCU. Thanks, y'all.
Feels so good to get that road win. Hope we can build on it.
Indeed it does. Have a great day, everybody.
Yo.